Time now is 6:43. This morning, President Donald Trump says Ukraine and Russia, they've never been so close to a peace deal. This comes after a 3-hour meeting yesterday with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelenskyy. So let's go live to Scripps News Group's Stephanie Liebergen for a recap of what the two leaders discussed. Good morning, Stephanie.
Hey, good morning. Well, according to President Zelenskyy, they discussed all elements of the proposed peace plan. There is a 20-point peace plan that has really served as the basis for negotiations that have been happening for a few weeks now. And President Zelenskyy said that yesterday's meeting was very productive, especially in the element of U.S. security guarantees. The U.S. stepping in to make sure that Ukraine is protected from a future invasion, especially since Ukraine stopping its attempt to join the NATO alliance is likely part of the peace deal, one of the things that Russia is requiring to try to come to a compromise agreement. But Zelenskyy really laid out a number of the elements of that proposed peace plan and really stressed how close they were to getting a final agreement. However, both presidents acknowledge that there are still some issues that need to be worked out. Take a listen.
And we discussed all the aspects of the peace framework, which includes, and we have great achievements, 20-point peace plan, 90% agreed, and U.S.-Ukraine security guarantees, 100% agreed. U.S.-Europe-Ukraine security guarantees, almost agreed. Military dimension, 100% agreed. Prosperity plan being finalized.
We could be very close. There are one or two very thorny issues, very tough issues, but I think we're doing very well. We made a lot of progress today, but really we've made it over the last month. This is not a one-day process deal. This is very complicated stuff.
Well, beyond the voices of Zelenskyy and Trump, these conversations also include Russian President Vladimir Putin. He had a phone call with President Trump before the Zelenskyy meeting, that phone call lasting more than 2 hours, and Trump saying that they made some good progress in that conversation. As for what exactly is coming next, well, of course, talks are ongoing between teams from the U.S. and from Ukraine, and they're trying to get all of the voices involved. President Trump expected to talk to Putin and Zelenskyy again today while the teams continue to meet over the next few weeks. And then we're expecting more in-person meetings to happen at a leader level in January. That could include Zelenskyy coming back to the U.S. for a 4th time during the president's second administration, as well as European leaders coming alongside, as Europe is really stressing that they need to make sure they have a voice since they are geographically closer to Russia and Ukraine, to make sure that their concerns are also alleviated by any peace plan that is agreed to. So while we're inching closer, both leaders acknowledge that there are still some really thorny issues yet to be ironed out, and those thorny issues could mean that a peace plan isn't possible and that war could continue for years to come. But both leaders, Zelenskyy and Trump, at least expressing a little optimism about a number of elements of the peace plan where they say they are at either 90% or a 100% agreement.
All right, well, Stephanie, thank you as always for the great insight. She's live in D.C.